SN Wolf Sports Network.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
Home of the hottest takes.
I'm going to disagree with you right there because the Dallas Cowboys are actually going to have less wins this year than the team that I'm about to talk about. And the team that I'm about to talk about are the Atlanta Falcons.
The hottest debates.
He's the all-time leading scorer, a four-time MVP. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player ever, not MJ.
Yeah, greatest losing in the finals, maybe.
And some of the top interviews in sports radio.
Super Bowl champion, Brad Johnson.
This is Joe Urso, five-time national champion head baseball coach for the University of Tampa.
This is five-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is President Brendan Kelly. You're listening to Sports Pack.
You know what time it is.
Wolves country.
Let's ride.
Let's ride indeed. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone listening, welcome into an incredible night for Sports Pack. This is your sports director, Brendan Willoughby Ray, kicking things off, joined by Gianna Wilcox, the assistant sports director, Richard Reed, the social media director, Carly Pear running the board in place of Gavin Ellis tonight. He's home dog sitting. So let's have a round of applause for Gavin. Big man stepping up, doing grown things. All right. We have a jam-packed show for y'all. I am super excited about this NBA segment for very, very, very obvious reasons. We're talking some NFL draft / combine, college basketball, some breaking sports news we got to get into. But you know what?
What?
Above all else, I am proud to be a West Georgia Wolf tonight for many reasons. Our basketball team's incredible. Joel Taylor is crushing it out there on the recruiting trail. And we have some of the best food of all colleges in the entire country thanks to Dine West. Because remember, you can reload and continue grabbing your favorite delicious meal options from Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and more. Call the Wolves card office at 678-839-6525 or stop by their office in the UCC.
West Georgia dials up a 29-yard score on 4th and 6.
D1, baby. Go Wolves.
Your West Georgia Wolves are officially GSC champions in the regular season, taking home a huge W last night, 94-80. Man, it's emotional. Just watching them cut down those nets, celebrate an incredible accomplishment for this entire team. We interviewed Zoddy Jackson before the season began. He said this team's main goal, their mission, was to win a GSC championship. They have gotten that done in the regular season. Now, next Tuesday, we start our journey to win the tournament of the GSC. But getting that regular season title is huge. We have locked up a place in March Madness, hopefully a very high seed. Richard, you were in the house last night. What was it like seeing your West Georgia Wolves win a conference championship? A lot of these seniors, like Cole Fisher, experiencing such greatness, experiencing such a high after last year's defeat, after some of last year's, shortcomings.
I mean, it was awesome. It was great to see. Senior night was outstanding, and then seeing them all get up there and cut down the net afterwards, it was awesome to see, especially after last basketball season, which wasn't bad by any stretch. It's just the fact that they've excelled so much this year has been amazing. But what I will say is Mississippi College battled. We were up 43-26 going into ending the first half, and they actually outscored us 54-51 in the second half. I mean, they had some dogs in Mississippi College, led by Rashad Bolden. They just wouldn't back down. They kept scoring and scoring, and I'm sitting there doing what I do, doing my due diligence to make sure I yell at every single player, yell at the coaches to the best of my abilities. And I just told them, I was like, man, 12. Calm down. But they kept scoring. They stayed in it, but we ended up pulling it out, stayed strong. Zoddy looked like he rolled his ankle a little bit, but he came back in the game late. He was still a factor, dropped 21 points. But it was a great game, great to see. Great way to end off the last ever Division II basketball game in the Coliseum. It was great to end out on a W. And then cutting down the nets, it's almost storybook. You couldn't write it much better than this. So we got one more game on Saturday at Delta State. And then it's time for the conference tournament next Tuesday, which we'll be hosting here at the Coliseum in Carrollton. Make sure you be there.
But yeah, it was a really impressive game. I was unable to attend. I had a bunch of homework, college life. But it was one of our...
Homework's overrated.
Okay. It was one of their best offensive performances of the season as the guys shot 54% from the field and 46% from the three. Like, that is just unheard of and super impressive. I mean, our defense might have slipped up a little bit, letting, Mississippi College?
Yeah.
Mississippi College get closer like that, or really outscore us in the entire second half. But we really did dominate from the field and from the three. And this also marked the first time since the 1998-99 season that the Wolves had ended the regular season undefeated at home. Like, we were 14-0 this season. It was really impressive. I like you said, it was storybook. Getting to cut down the nets. Like, I never thought I would be at a school that got to experience that. Like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool. I was sidelining last night, and very physical, very, very fast-paced game. But as always, the Wolves pulled it out. But we did have our women's game last night, too, before that. And so they also played Delta State on Saturday. But even if they lose that game, they're ending the regular season with a winning record, which is something our women's team hasn't done in years. So awesome with what Joanna Ritz is doing right now. But yeah, super incredible last night.
Yeah, our women's team was very impressive last night. I was here for their game as well. They dominated. And it caught me off guard because they started off a little slow, just like how the men's did. But as the game went on, they really took over and just ran Mississippi College out of the Coliseum.
You were exactly
Beat them by
right.
20.
Yeah, shout out to Aaliyah Washington. She had 21 points. Three other girls were double-digit scores. It was an amazing way to end it at home for the girls, too.
Look. Shout out to the woman. I mean, 16-11, probably going to improve to 17-11 by the time the season ends. It's an incredible accomplishment. We've talked ad nauseum about how this new coach has come in and set a great culture, but there's only so much that we in the media can talk about it. At the end of the day, the players got to go out and execute. The coach has to execute, and they have done that. That hire's paid dividends. I'm so proud of that women's team. But, Richard, you said something. You said that we could not script a better ending. We could not write a better ending than what we saw last night. Well, I got news for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a better ending, and it says Natty. If you're listening on the radio, you're not watching on Twitch or YouTube.
Turn it to the camera.
It's on the camera. It says Natty, okay?
National championship.
This West Georgia Wolves men's basketball team is not only good enough to win the conference tournament, they are good enough to win the national championship. There is no doubt in my mind that this team, led by Zoddy Jackson and head coach Dave Moore, is the best team in Division II college basketball. We're going to get revenge against Nova. I want to see Nova. I want Nova.
I was just about to say, being in the southern region, right, that's spearheaded by Nova, it's going to show us a lot, because if y'all don't know, Nova beat us in the round of 32 last year. So if that's the case, if we keep churning, we face off with Nova in the Sweet 16, and that will really show us that this is a national championship caliber team.
It absolutely would. And like I said, I am fired up to see this Wolves team on Super Tuesday get a big-time win, hopefully against Valdosta State. That's what I want to say before we move on to the next thing. Valdosta State, any players, any coaches that are listening, win your next 2 games if you're not chicken, if you're not scared, if you're not afraid. Come to the Thunderdome. Play us one last time, lose by 30, and we will plant that flag. We will drive down to Valdosta, and we will plant that big UWG flag right on your campus. We will disrespect you. We don't care. If you're man enough, win these next 2 games and come see us at the Collie. Now, I'm obviously very hyped for Super Tuesday.
Tell us how you really feel.
Hey, now, I'm very hyped for Super Tuesday. But you know what else I'm hyped for?
What's that?
It starts with a W, ends with a K, and is all the fun in the world. Any guesses?
Is it Wolfstock?
It is Wolfstock. Wolfstock 2024, the concert event of the year, is coming right here in Carrollton, Georgia, on the University of West Georgia's campus in the Campus Center Ballroom. Thursday, April 4, 2024, from 6 to 9 p.m. You will see your favorite artists at your favorite school. It's going to be an incredible, incredible night. It's brought to you by Dine West, Housing and Residence Life, Center for Student Involvement and Inclusion, American Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions. Again, do not miss Wolfstock 2024. Going to be an incredible experience. We cannot wait.
The NBA is back. Let's go.
Schroeder, LeBron doing it again with first slam from Schroeder.
Oh, okay. Right in the
I
mic.
can smell that.
Oh, man.
I
Now
felt the
listen,
weight
now
of that.
listen, now listen. Last night, let me set the scene for you.
Oh, here we go, folks.
Los Angeles, California. You got the Clippers. You got the Lakers. Clippers are at home. Now, we all know they play in the same arena for right now. The Clippers get their new arena next season, but for right now, they're both in the Crypto.com arena, formerly known as the Staples Center. Clippers had a 21-point lead. Kawhi was balling out. We know James Harden was balling out. But that fourth quarter, man, the Lakers outscored the Clippers 39-16, led by the greatest basketball player of all time, asserting his dominance. One LeBron, Raymond, James Sr., dropping 19 points and 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. A virtuoso, goated performance, leading the Lakers over the Clippers 116-112. An incredible performance all around. Now, yes, the Clippers were without Paul George, but the Lakers going on the road in an incredible, hard-to-play environment against one of the hottest teams in the NBA, getting a huge W. We're looking at this Lakers team, man. LeBron is playing at an incredibly high level. They're clicking on all cylinders. Do we think this is the win the Los Angeles Lakers needed to assert themselves among the NBA's elite once again? Is this a Los Angeles Lakers team we can expect to not only get to the semifinals, but to get into the conference finals and maybe make their first NBA Finals appearance in 4 years? Richard, we look at this Lakers team, the last time they made a finals appearance was during an election year, and guess what? Check your watch. It's 2024, baby. What do we think?
It was funny to me that you said they went on the road and they share an arena right now. That's,
Right.
that's pretty hilarious. But I mean, yeah, it was extremely impressive. LeBron really flexed his muscles, showing why he's arguably the greatest player of all time. I mean, he balled out. You're not seeing many people at the age of 56 still balling at this high of a level. So he
56.
He really showed up and showed out.
Did you say
But
56?
yeah, he's like what, 56, creeping up to 70. But I mean, but here's the thing: this Lakers team is very talented. They can really do things. LeBron can still show up and show out like he did last night. The thing is, I still think this is the team that can make the playoffs, even if they squeak in the play-in like they did last year. They can make a run. But the thing is, towards the tail end of that run last year, you could tell LeBron was exhausted. He needed somebody to step up because LeBron just can't go all gas, no brakes for an entire series, for an entire playoff run like he did earlier in his career. He needs guys to step up. So if they're going to make a run like that, we need consistent performances from Austin Reeves, from D'Angelo Russell, and oh my gosh, from Anthony Davis. He needs to show up and be the guy on this team. Now, LeBron can still show up and have nights like tonight, but he does not need to be the guy. He doesn't need to be the life and soul of this team. Guys like Anthony Davis need to step up and help carry this team so LeBron kind of sit back, still do LeBron things, and show up like he did last night when needed. LeBron does not need to carry the water for this team. If anything, they all need to do it by community, or Anthony Davis needs to step up and be the true number one option and be the true star of this team.
No, I totally agree. Like, while last night was really impressive, like I was impressed. Brendan, you said that the Lakers outscored them 39-16, but LeBron single-handedly outscored them 19-16 in that fourth quarter. So he has proven time and time again that he can get it done, but it's like, how long can he keep doing this? Like, his team needs to step up, and the Lakers and LeBron have had games like this throughout the season and in previous seasons, and yeah, of course, it's historic, it's impressive, but I feel like we've said on the show before, the league as a whole is getting so much better that even though LeBron is still making all these historic games, if his surrounding team isn't doing it too, it's not gonna be that much helpful. So I agree with you, Richard. I think they can make a little run in the playoffs, but LeBron is gonna run out of steam if other people don't step up to help.
Nothing? You know, it's kind of funny, right? All everyone does is doubt the king.
Not true.
They doubt LeBron. They do. Year after year after year. We see the same exact thing. Oh, man, the Lakers are done. The Lakers are toast.
Get your umbrella out.
Man, what?
Richard, I'm going to ignore that. But at the end of the day, LeBron James reminds us time and time again why he is not only the greatest basketball player of all time, but the greatest overall athlete of our generation. We are seeing a man in year 21 play at this high of a level, dominate at this level, at this stage in his career. It is mind-blowing. It is incredible. He is 40 points away from 40 40,000 points. He's going to be the only player in NBA history with 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. Guess what? There's nobody else in NBA history with 20,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists.
Right.
His longevity is unreal. But guess what? It's far more than that. Because watching that game last night, the way that he took over that game, it just proved that he can still be the best player in the world on any given night. And to me, that's why the Lakers have a chance to win a championship. Now, I think the Nuggets are still better. I think the Clippers are still better. I think with Paul George, they're still the best team in the West. You look at the Thunder, still a great team. The Timberwolves, still a great team. But if LeBron James plays at that level, and if Anthony Davis steps up and plays at his 2020 level, even the level he was playing at last year in the playoffs, this Lakers team can beat anyone. The West is more loaded than ever. And honest to God, I'm just really glad my Miami Heat are not in the West. But guess what? Speaking of my Miami Heat,
here we go.
We've won 9 of our last 11 games.
Y'all have?
5 straight wins by a 15-point per game margin. Jimmy Butler, he was out. He was suspended. But guess what? He was chilling, eating with Nikola Jovic. They were chanting, "Let's go Heat," when we knocked off the Trailblazers, threw up the L to Joe Cronin. And this Miami Heat team right now, 5th seed in the East, they're creeping up there. They're looking incredible. Bam's playing with a lot of confidence. Eric Spoelstra, this is one of his best coaching jobs. Gavin, he's not here tonight, but one of the things he spoke to was this Miami Heat team cannot be counted out no matter the circumstance. Do we think this Heat team is officially a contender seeing this hot streak?
Yeah, me and Gavin echoed the same sentiment a few weeks back. I mean, you can never really count out these Miami Heat teams. They're keeping the same core, and they're bringing in more guys. They're bringing in guys like Terry Rozier. They're drafting guys. I mean, they have guys up and down this roster. Now, the only thing you can really knock them and say is that they're a little undersized, and you know what? They are. Well, they're still coached by Eric Spoelstra, who's obviously the best coach in the NBA at this point. I mean, there's really no debating it at this point. What he's done with these Miami Heat teams, it's like I feel like every year we're saying this might be his best coaching job yet. You just said this year might be. Shoot, I would have said last year that playoff run might have been. I mean, they're just ridiculous. And each and every single year, they find a way to start off slow and end the season after All-Star break and throughout the summer right there in the title conversation. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they do it. It would not surprise me to see them go on another run again. I mean, they've been the Bucks' kryptonite for the past few years, so they match up against the Bucks. They're going to have to depend on Damian Lillard because otherwise the Heat know exactly what to do to the Bucks, how to get past them. So I don't know. If I'm a team in the East, I'm a little nervous seeing the Miami Heat heat up, but I'm also thinking, okay, now we've done enough to stack up against the Heat because you got the Bucks. The Heat been knocking them off, so they brought in Damian Lillard, get more dynamic at guard. The Celtics think that bringing in Kristaps Porzingis is that last piece they need to truly be a title contender. So if I'm a team in the East, I'm a little bit concerned seeing that they're getting hot, but I'm also confident in the offseason moves I've made to combat the Miami Heat in the postseason.
Yeah, you're right. We do say this every year. I've probably been saying it a lot for the past couple of shows that they keep getting better. And it pains me to say this as a Hawks fan, but yeah, I'm scared of the Heat right now. They're very good, keeping that same core and then adding people who are only adding to your skill set just makes them that much more dangerous. My only concern is how many injuries they have right now, but I mean they've been pushing through that. I mean, Brendan, you said they're 9 of their 8 or 9 of the last 11
9
of the last 11 games. So I mean they know how to get things done with injuries, without injuries, with people being suspended like Jimmy Butler. Like they're very impressive. That's all I can say. And Bam Adebayo, he deserved to be an all-star. He is out there balling every single night. Like he's that guy for the Heat.
Now tonight, an NBA Finals rematch on TNT in Denver. The Miami Heat playing the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to get a quick game pick from all of us. Who do we have in the Mile High? The Miami Heat or the defending champs?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So as a Denver native and obviously a Nuggets fan, I have to go with the Nuggets. I don't think you can count them out, even though they are rising. They are on fire, if you will. But, I mean, Jokic has a higher points per game percentage, higher field goal percentage than Jimmy Butler. And also, back to your LeBron comment, did you know that Jokic actually just surpassed LeBron in triple-doubles?
Yes, but he plays center. I mean, it's obviously he's going to get more rebounds. I mean, you know.
Okay. Anyways, my pick is the Nuggets.
Quick pick, I'll go Nuggets. Why not, man? Jamal Murray masterclass.
I was gonna pick Nuggets too. They're 23-5 at home. That's just something you can't ignore.
You know, we can't give Brendan his 3-1. I'm gonna go Heat.
Oh, no.
I can't give you that 3-1. I can't give you that 3-1.
Quickly.
I was going to be contrarian, but guess what? Richard, you're in the trenches with me. I got the Miami Heat with the upset over the Denver Nuggets on the road, making it 10 of our last 12. Now, if y'all want an incredible place to watch this NBA Finals rematch, look no further than Jefferson's in Carrollton. They got 20 flat screen TVs, a full bar with not 13, not 14, not 15, but 16 draft beers. Please drink responsibly. A covered porch and an outdoor area for cornhole and fun. Whether it's the big game or you want a chill afternoon with the friends and family, Jefferson's in Carrollton is your full stop for fun. Located at 342 Maple Street. Visit their website at jeffersons.com or follow their Instagram at jeffersons_Carrollton. Now, quick break. And when we come back, we're talking some NFL, baby. This is Wolf Sports Network.
This is Super Bowl champion.
What's going on, y'all? It's Richard Reed here, just here to remind y'all that we are indeed a radio station first. And as of right now, we're taking a quick little song break, so go ahead and go to wolfsportsnetwork.com, hit the play button in the top left corner of the screen, listen to the great music that we're playing. And then once the song break's over, either stay on the radio stream and listen that way, or come on back over to YouTube or Twitch, however you're watching, and tune in for the rest of the show. If you haven't already, send out the link to as many people as you think would enjoy the show. And yeah, I'd like to thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the rest.
This is John Howie, your host of Wolf Sports Network's newest podcast. I'm glad the Falcons fired Arthur Smith. I am also joined by Jackson Schrader.
We gotta first say the vibes in South Beach right now are immaculate.
And along with Jason Barker.
DJ Moore is about to make every fantasy manager who needs 30 points dreams come true tonight.
And together, we are Triple Threat. So make sure to tune in on Mondays to get your week started off right.
College students who binge drank alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of what? Drinking? Drinking, absolutely. That is why Printazale has joined Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind students drinking should be done responsibly and in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as
excuses.
Yes, sir.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty.
Shameless plug time. Go on wolfsportsnetwork.com right now. Pull up the NFL Mock Draft 2.0 by yours truly. Just dropped it yesterday. Right now, currently, I got Caleb Williams going number 1 to the Chicago Bears, Drake May number 2 to the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels number 3 to the New England Patriots. So nothing too crazy going on. If you listen to Monday's show, you know I got J.J. McCarthy going top 10. Very, very controversial at the station. Had a huge debate about it. So I'm going to shift away from the top 10 because we all know what we think about the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks. Richard, I'm going to ask you about the different prospects in this draft because this is an incredibly deep draft. We have great DBs, we have great tackles, we have some great receivers. Who are some guys you see littered in my first round that you think will be big-time contributors in the NFL? I'm
going to start with somebody that you left out of your first round mock draft. And it's a guy that, it's kind of funny that it's happening today. Blew a lot of scouts away in the combine today running his 4.48 40, and that's a guy named Chop Robinson. He's an edge rusher coming out of Penn State. He was by far the best player on what was already a top 10 unit in the country with the Penn State Nittany Lions. And yeah, man, he's a flat-out beast. He's a freak athlete. As people are seeing, he ran a 4.48. He's 6'3", 256 pounds, and he's flat-out moving. His lower body's ridiculous. I ain't finna say with them I'm gonna say what them combine guys be saying. Wow. He got a bubble butt. I mean, he's like, man, look, he's massive, very powerful, very fast, crazy athlete. He just runs around and makes plays. He's a tackle machine, can also get after the quarterback. Chop Robinson out of Penn State is a beast. And while we're talking about prospects that blew people away with their 40, Quinion Mitchell from Tulane is already blowing a lot of people away with his flat-out coverage ability. Excuse me, he went to Tulsa, not Tulane. But I think when he runs the 40, he might be the fastest corner and the fastest player in this draft class. I expect him to run high 4.2s, low 4.3s. I think he's really going to gain a lot of attention with his 40 time. And then when people cut on the tape, they're going to realize, oh, my God, he's a shutdown corner as well.
Now, right now, my biggest sleeper in terms of these top 30, top 35 prospects is the guy I have going 13th overall. So in my mock trade, I have the Raiders obviously trading up to number 9, getting J.J. McCarthy, meaning the Bears right now at number 9 slide back to number 13. I have him getting Brian Thomas Jr., the 6'4 stud receiver out of LSU. Now, we all know Malik Neighbors probably should have won Biletnikoff. He was the best wide receiver in college football last year. Now, don't get me wrong, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a generational prospect, my wide receiver 1, but Malik Neighbors is a top 5 overall prospect. He's a stud. He's incredible. But at the same time, Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud in his own right. I feel like he would have been right up there for Biletnikoff if he wasn't Malik's teammate. I think in Chicago, they bring in Caleb Williams. You need a big-time weapon there. Yes, they have DJ Moore. Yes, they have Cole Kmet. But if you're able to trade back, gather assets, and get a 6'4 receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. that is an incredible route runner, creates incredible separation, is incredibly fast for his size, that will be a home run. Now, looking at number 8, I got the Atlanta Falcons taking Dallas Turner out of Alabama. In my opinion, the best pass rusher in this draft. No bias. I actually think he is the best. Looking at this Atlanta Falcons team, obviously quarterback is a huge need. We had new head coach say yesterday, he said, look, if we had better quarterback play last season, I would not be standing here today. So he's looking at quarterback as the number 1 issue to address this offseason. Obviously, we're seeing reports saying that the New England Patriots are likely staying in the top 3, taking quarterback. We know the top 2 are going to be staying there, taking quarterbacks. What is the Atlanta Falcons' best path forward? Should they be aggressive, try to trade up, nab a guy, even if it means pretty much trading the farm? Should they stay at 8, take a J.J. McCarthy / Bo Nix? Or should they get their guy through trade / free agency?
First of all, I want to correct my mistake again. I misspoke twice. Quinion Mitchell goes to Toledo. I said the other 2 schools with T's. I said Tulane in Tulsa, but he goes to Toledo, excuse me. But no, I mean, the Falcons need to stay put, stay at the 8th overall pick, go out and trade for Justin Fields. We've talked about this many times. Justin Fields is the answer for the Falcons. They can give up a second, maybe even a third-round pick and an extra player for Justin Fields and stay put in the first round, because while quarterback is a very big need, and we all agree that quarterback is a massive need, if not the biggest need for the Atlanta Falcons, they also need to fill up other holes in this roster. And keeping that 8th overall pick is crucial for that. So you bring in Justin Fields, you already have a lot of weapons, so now you have options as to what to do. Edge pressure is a big need, so getting a guy like Dallas Turner, even Jared Verse would be perfect for the Falcons, getting a dominant edge rusher. And even if one of those top receivers slide, like if for some insane reason we see Malik Neighbors slide to the 8th overall pick, because a lot of these other teams might get very quarterback hungry, just start grabbing quarterback, offensive tackle, and we see guys like Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors slip to that 8th overall pick, I wouldn't be mad to see the Falcons go there either and then try to get a nice edge rusher in maybe the second round or maybe out of free agency, like we might see Danielle Hunter leave the Vikings. I mean, the Falcons are going to have options. But with that 8th slot, you stay put, don't trade up, don't trade back, don't do anything. Stay solid, pick up Justin Fields, and either see if one of those receiver slides or take one of those dominant edge rushers in Dallas Turner or Jared Verse.
See, I couldn't agree more. I think if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you stick at 8, take the best defensive player available, and then guess what? Kirk Cousins, free agent, go after him. Can't sign him. Looks very likely they're going to trade for Justin Fields. The more days that pass, I feel like Justin Fields gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. You're probably going to get him at a very discounted price. He's still an incredibly talented quarterback. You bring him into the fold, the sky is the limit. Now, another big-time quarterback-needy team. We're seeing Russell Wilson exit the Denver Broncos. What do we think about their quarterback situation? Because right now they're picking at 12. In that range, we got J.J. McCarthy, Bo Pix, Michael Penix. Would it be wise for them? Would it be wise for them to go quarterback, take the big swing in the first round, or take the Falcons route, trade for a guy, get someone in free agency, and build up that defense, namely that secondary that needs a lot of pieces?
Yeah, I mean, I could really see them going either way. I could see them drafting a corner. I see you have them drafting Quinyon Mitchell, the guy I mentioned a few minutes ago, because let's be real, it's obvious that Patrick Surtain is going to hit the door when it's time, when his contract's over after this season. So I can see them going secondary. They were already struggling out there even with Patrick Surtain. But at the same time, they kind of need to go quarterback unless they sit back and hope that a guy like Michael Penix or Bo Nix is still available in the second round, maybe even J.J. McCarthy. But I can see them going either way. I see them either going corner or taking, like you said, the big swing at quarterback and getting a guy like J.J. McCarthy, 12th overall. I mean, I can see it happening. It's about time to start rebuilding. They need to bring a quarterback in because they're letting Russell Wilson walk. There is no other option on that roster. I'm going to be honest, I don't care who started at the end of the season. He is not a real deal option. It's time to bring in your guy, and if not, go get a guy out of free agency. But I think it's time to start over, draft a guy, or go corner.
Yeah, I agree. Like, a big priority for the Broncos right now is to look at quarterbacks, and I would love Bo Nix to come to the Broncos, but I also think, like, in order for that quarterback to, like, be successful in the position that he's in is to have a good offensive tackle, and that's something that we've kind of lacked in the past. Like, Russell Wilson got sacked 45 times last season, so I think a big priority for the Broncos as well would be a good offensive tackle. And
I know that's right.
Joe Alt is a really good option from Notre Dame, as well as a couple guys from Penn State, Oregon State, and
you got Fashanu from Penn State. You have Fuega from Oregon State, and
there's
even
also
Latham from Alabama is a very good option as well.
It's a deep draft at tackle. I could see a lot of these guys, even Guyton like from Oklahoma, Amarius Mims from Georgia. There are a lot of guys they could grab there.
Now, see, if I'm the Denver Broncos, like I said, I have them getting Quinyon Mitchell right now. I'm going either Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold, getting that CB. Go ahead, Richard.
You know, another thing I've been seeing in a lot of mock drafts is a lot of people have the Giants either going wide receiver or quarterback, which sounds good on the surface, but if your quarterback has no time to throw, it's not going to make a difference. You drafting a wide receiver like how they drafted Jalen Hyatt last year, it was a great pick on paper, but he had no time in the pocket to throw. Daniel Jones isn't good whatsoever, but it's like he doesn't have a chance to even be half decent without an offensive line. I don't see how the Giants don't go offensive line in the first round. Carly, you kind of reminded me of that. That 6th overall pick, the Giants and the Chargers both need to go O-line because their O-lines are atrocious.
Now, if you're like Daniel Jones in the pocket and you have no time whatsoever, you can go to Jefferson's. They have online ordering that fits any need on the go. Download their app now for Jefferson's in your belly later. Jefferson's and Carrollton's open Sunday to Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Thursday to Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m.
It may not be March, but the madness has already begun.
Up in time, Clark for the win! There's a takeaway and a run on the poster. Dante Scott absolutely throttles the rim.
He found a beat, y'all.
Hey,
It took him a while.
what a night last night in the SEC. Some incredible games headlined by a showdown in Knoxville between the number 5 team in the country, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the number 11 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. The Vols took home the W 92-84. Now, these are two championship contending teams. Right now, Tennessee's on top of the SEC. They have a huge matchup on Saturday against Alabama that will likely decide the regular season SEC championship. We'll talk about that at the end of the segment, but for right now, watching those two teams play an incredible game yesterday. Richard, I'm going to call you out. Are you finally ready to admit what I've been saying, what Seth Greenberg's been saying, what a lot of analysts have been saying, that the SEC right now is the best conference in college basketball, and it is very likely we will see an SEC team represented in the Final Four?
Yeah, the SEC's flat out balling. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they're the flat out best as of right now. And let's be real. I mean, people call me an SEC homer all the time because I'm a big time Georgia fan, and I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I'll say I'm pretty unbiased. But I think it's kind of a two-way tie between the SEC and the Big 12 because the Big 12 is still dominant. There's a good chance we see the Big 12 and an SEC team in the Elite Eight. But I will say the Tennessee Volunteers are taking the next step. Because over the past few years, they've been right in contention. They've had like little streaky guys at guard that can get hot for a few games and then cool off after a while. They were always very good defensively. Now, while they might have taken a small step back defensively this year, they've kept that strong core, and then they brought in a guy like Dalton Connect that can flat out ball. Like, man, he's a flat out scorer. I remember when I saw him getting hot early this season, I was like, man, who is this guy? I wonder if he can keep it up. But he has kept it up the entire season. He scored 39 last night against Auburn. I mean, the Tennessee Volunteers found themselves a score. And they still have very, very above average guard play as well. You're right, Brendan. This is a team that we can easily see in the Final Four. And I hate to say this to you of all people, but I can see Alabama out there too. Because the way Alabama can score, how many times have they scored over 100 points this year? 7,
too
8,
many
9?
To count, man. I would need like 4 different arms. You know that one Spider-Man from the multiverse that's got like 8 different arms too? That's how many hands I need because this is the number 1 team. Doc Ock. Good Marvel plug, Gianna. Yeah. But yeah, man, this Alabama team got the best offense in the country. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, exactly. So like I can see multiple SEC teams making deep runs and possibly definitely get into the Elite Eight and possibly even getting into the Final Four. You were right earlier. I was kind of dissing the SEC, but not really because I was appreciating how good the SEC teams were. I just wasn't fully bought in this season, but time is proving me wrong, and it's all right. I like being proven wrong. The SEC is rising to the occasion, and they're turning into one of the top conferences in all of college basketball.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, this game with Tennessee and Auburn was an example of that. Tennessee was so good. I'm glad you mentioned Connect because I could not believe that he scored 39 points, and that's tying his career high. He's done it before. So he is an absolute shooter. He can get it done on the court. And in fact, the Vols were actually trailing before he really got hot like that. So he is a key player for this team. I think it'll be really interesting to see how this Tennessee and Alabama game is on. You said on Saturday, Brendan?
It is.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting because these two teams are really evenly matched, and it will determine how the rest of the SEC looks.
Oh yeah, they're gonna go to war on Saturday. I can't wait to watch that.
A straight up
I
dog
can't
fight.
wait to see it.
Straight up.
Brendan, I thought you had something.
I was just waiting because it's Auburn.
I was gonna say because man, we mentioned Alabama. I just knew you were about to run with it.
Now listen.
Here we go.
I'm not the most excited about Alabama's defense right now in terms of efficiency. It's 97th in the country. But guess what?
97?
I could probably go out there and get about 15.
Yeah,
definitely.
But guess what? You're going to get 35 put right on top of your head because this Alabama offense right now, ranked number 1 in the country, can guide this team to the Final Four. Now, I don't know if they'll go all the way because we all know without a great defense, it is hard to make a run. But guess what? This Alabama offense is shooting the lights out. They are incredibly efficient. They give me a lot of confidence going into the matchup at home this Saturday against Tennessee. But we all know right now Tennessee is arguably playing like the second or third best team in the entire country. This is a Tennessee team we've seen for years knock at the door. They've always been right there. They come in a preseason top 15-ish team. They look like a team that can make a deep run. We see them get upset in March Madness. But what other teams have we seen do that? Virginia a few years ago. Seems like every year they knock on the door, end up losing in the round of 64. Next year, win the national championship. It very well may be Tennessee's year. But I am telling you right now, America, do not count out this Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team with the #1 offense. Because guess what? I like teams with the combination of both. A little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. You know, I like to use the crock pot analogy. You got to put all the ingredients in there. Got to put a little bit of paprika, a little bit of spice, put a little bit of ice spice, put a little bit of offense, put a little bit of defense.
All right,
but guess what?
Metaphors.
This Alabama offense sprinkles so much on that plate that sometimes it can be overwhelming. And I think it will be overwhelming for plenty of teams. Give me Alabama going to at least the Elite 8.
You want to talk about some offense? We got another big game on Saturday. We got the Marquette Golden Eagles going up against the Creighton Blue Jays. Two teams out of a conference in the Big East. They're trying to knock it on the door. They're like, okay, you're talking about the SEC, you're talking about the Big 12. We're also in the conversation for being the best conference in all of college basketball. I mean, a lot of people see the Big East and they're like, what even is that? Who are these schools? But man, they are constant basketball powerhouses. And these are two teams. Marquette Golden Eagles have been dominant all season and lost to UConn big. Well, the Creighton Blue Jays just beat UConn about a week and a half ago. So this is one of the bigger games in the country as well this season, especially now that we're crowning regular season conference champions. This is going to be very integral in seeing the seeding for the Big East tournament and also the final champion for the Big East this year. So this is another huge game Saturday.
No, you're definitely right. I feel like if Creighton can play the way they did when they upset UConn, it's going to be a really hard game for Marquette to compete.
Telling you, Marquette's going to be right there in there. Marquette can score with the best.
No, you do. I feel like people sometimes forget about Marquette, like as all these other teams are getting better, but they do not count them out.
Marquette is always around.
Man, this is a deep year in college basketball, and it honestly just makes me so excited and so pumped for Wolf Sports Network's coverage of March Madness. We're doing it a little bit differently this year, right? So obviously last year, yours truly was the champion. I was crowned #1. We all know how it went.
He bought himself that crown.
He did.
By the way.
Well, yeah, but you know, that's what happens when you're the best.
No.
Anyways,
No.
This year we are doing teams and individuals. So a team will win. We have a bunch of teams of 4. It's going to be incredible. Each team has a different side of the bracket. If your team wins, everyone wins. We have solo, so you know I'll probably end up winning again. I'll get another crown. Heck
No.
yeah! And we're doing interactive brackets with fans this year. So it's an open invitation to all of Wolf Sports Network Nation. If you're out there, you watch Sports Pack, you watch Sports Out of Pocket, you love our content, you want to get in on the action. Once the bracket drops in March, we will have all the details necessary on our Instagram at Wolf Sports Network. Make sure you guys stay tuned in the upcoming weeks for more information. It's going to be an incredible just month of celebration, not only for college basketball, but for Wolf Sports Network as a whole. Now, this percentage is so high, it almost reminds you of an Alabama three-point percentage, but it's pretty startling, okay? Because 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22, not 16, 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Printers Ale has joined Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind you there is no drinking under the age of 21, never drink and drive even if it's just one beer, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex. Know your limits. Now, going to get to a very, 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 very quick break. But when we come back, some sports news coming at you, Dome, on Sports Pack, on Wolf Sports Network. Keep it tuned, baby.
Hey, this is Andy Bunker from 92.9 The Game, and you're listening to the Wolf Sports Network.
Coachella.
Oh,
All right.
Woodstock.
close.
Glastonbury.
I don't know what that is.
One of the biggest music festivals in the world, Richard. Step up your music game, buddy. I know you got it in you. Now
Whoa.
listen.
My fault, big bro. Hey, look, my fault. Let me go ahead and leave.
These are some of the biggest music events of all time. And what if I told you there is an event nearly as big happening right in our backyard? That's right. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, gather round while I tell you about Wolfstock 2024 coming to the University of West Georgia April 4th. It's a beautiful Thursday night from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom. Stay tuned. We're dropping the guest list so shortly. I mean, within the next week, it's going to be an incredible guest list of artists. Some returning, some brand new, some bands, some rappers, some DJs. It is going to be the music event of the year here at the University of West Georgia. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a good one, brought to you by Dine West Housing and Residence Life, Suited for Center Involvement, American Pie Pizzeria, and Illuminated Productions. Also, Ozier Apparel getting in on the mix.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pack.
Thanks for the extra bass there, Richard. It's very much appreciated. Now, some breaking news within the last couple hours. Caitlin Clark, arguably the biggest women's athlete on the face of the planet right now, officially entering the WNBA draft after this season. What is our initial reactions? How great do we expect Caitlin Clark to be as soon as she steps foot in the WNBA?
The Indiana Fever gonna be loaded. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Oh my goodness,
God.
they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's gonna ball out. I mean, I think her skill set translates seamlessly. I mean, because she's a flat out shooter, flat out scorer, playmaker. I mean, she can just straight up ball. I don't think. Now, see, I don't want this kind of tape to be pulled against me when she ends up averaging 2.5 points a game in year 7.
Don't say that.
But I mean, like, on paper, I mean, she looks great. I mean, dude, she does not miss. Caitlin Clark's a flat-out scorer, and I want to say she's, 12 points away from passing Pistol Pete as being the all-time NCAA scoring leader in all of basketball.
I think it's 18.
Yeah, it's either 12 or 18. Shoot, it might be 40 as far as I know. I just know she's close, and she's probably going to pass Pistol Pete before the season's over. I mean, she's a flat-out baller. If she's not taking number 1 overall, I don't know who is, unless I was to surprise everybody and enter the draft. Maybe LeBron put on a wig and entered. I don't know. But she's flat out baller.
No, she really is. And this is after a game against Minnesota last night where she set record after record. It was absolutely
Sorry.
Sorry, Richard distracted me.
LeBron in a wig, man. What can I tell you?
Right, but this is after she passed Lynette Woodard for the major college record, and she's just phenomenal. She's going to be a star. She's been a star so far in college. She's going to dominate at the WNBA. I cannot wait to see her compete at this level.
Man, I'm telling you what. Caitlin Clark's something special. I mean, obviously, last March Madness, we saw her go crazy. The entire country got caught up in all the hoopla. There's a little drama there with Angel Reese, but they seem to be all good now. We watch Caitlin Clark time and time again assert herself as arguably the best women's athlete on the planet right now. Seeing her in the WNBA will be incredible for the game. We saw the Sabrina Ionesco Steph Curry three-point competition bring a lot of eyes and a lot of attention to the WNBA. Right now, though, what the WNBA needs more than anything is one, Caitlin Clark. Her coming into this game will pay dividends. It'll bring so many more viewers, so many more eyes. She is the most box office player coming out of college basketball on the women's side we have ever seen. I am saying that confidently. You go watch her. She's going to shoot the lights out. She's balling. She's popcorn. She's fun to watch. And I can't wait to see her in the WNBA.
She's popcorn.
She's popcorn, man. She's that buttery movie kind, you know?
All right, let me go ahead and stop you there. But yeah, you know what? You're right. right. She's going to be great for the WNBA, going to bring so many more eyes. I mean, Sabrina doing the three-point contest against Steph brought in a lot more people as well, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't even know who Sabrina was.
Unfortunately.
But Caitlin Clark, Clark is one of the biggest basketball players in the world right now. I'm talking men's and women. She's one of the biggest athletes in the world right now. So her entering the WNBA, I'm telling you, she's going to the Indiana Fever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to bring a lot more eyes. Shoot, I might even tune in.
Hopefully, I hope you're tuning in now. But hopefully, you know, with her going into the WNBA, we can have another event like we did with Sabrina and Steph. They were even hinting at, like, during All-Star Weekend that maybe they could continue this and have it a two-man team for each, like Caitlin and Sabrina versus Steph and Dame, or Steph and someone else. So hopefully that might actually come to light.
Yeah, I think with Caitlin Clark, like, it's going to be a whole new era for the WNBA, just like everyone has been saying, like, more eyes, more attention, which is exactly what it needs. But moving on in other sports news, this last weekend, Atlanta hosted another NASCAR race, and it was actually the third closest finish in Cup Series history. It was a 3-car photo finish. It was a 3-way tie, so it was an unbelievable race. But any thoughts?
I just want to go fast.
What does Gavin always say? Turn left, turn left, turn left?
No, I was just quoting Ricky Bobby.
No, but Gavin always says that. He would have got it if he was here.
Now, listen, you know, I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan in the world. Shout out to my friend, good friend of the show, TK, big NASCAR fan, probably the biggest NASCAR fan I know. You know, I know he's watching right now. He's probably super excited. We're actually talking about NASCAR the first time in the history
You're welcome,
of Sports Bag.
TK, by the way. You're welcome.
Exactly. No, that photo finish was incredible. And honestly, it reminded me of a scene out of Cars. Remember that? Like, I don't know which Cars it was. It wasn't the spy one.
I was just pulling up the Piston Cup.
The first one.
I was about to say, listen, if it ain't Lightning or Tony Stark and Iron Man 2 racing, I don't care. Listen,
I forget he was racing.
1,000-time Piston Cup champion, Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Is he the GOAT, though? Lightning McQueen.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Turn left, turn left, turn left.
Yeah. Anyways, so another big topic in sports news this last weekend, the Winter Cup for women's gymnastics happened this last weekend, and Gabby Douglas was scheduled to attend, but she ended up getting sick with, I think, COVID, and so she wasn't able to actually compete. But Suni Lee was there, and she competed, but not up to a lot of people's expectations. She actually fell. She's been training really, really well. She looked good on film during her training sessions, but during the competition, she fell during a event or a skill that she hoped to be named after her. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of she builds from that, especially heading into the Olympic season. And Simone Biles actually wasn't there. Her and her husband were at a wedding or something. But she said...
Simone Biles' husband.
Yeah.
Who is that man?
But anyways, but she's made a presence on Twitter that she's watching and she likes what she sees. So going into this Olympic season, it'll be really interesting to see how everything plays out, especially with gymnastics.
Yeah, it's getting good, and we're getting very close. We need Gabby Douglas healthy. We need Simone to go ahead and cancel the rest of her wedding appearances. Look, I'm considering skipping a few fall Saturday weddings this year. You need to go ahead and do the same thing. Go ahead and skip out on these for the Olympics. And we need Suni Lee to go ahead and lock in. We know what she can do. We know what she's capable of. They're all going to be ready come Olympic time because I need it. Yeah. We need to be able to talk jump between these other countries, especially with tensions heating up all over the place. We at least need to be on the front lines, be able to say, yeah, but we got these gold medals.
The only time I'm patriotic is during the Olympics. The only time I'm patriotic is during the Olympics, and I cannot wait from gymnastics. I know all these girls are going to be at their top game. They're going to be ready to compete, and we're going to be taking home the gold once again.
Well, I'm tiptoeing the lines on what I can and can't say, huh?
Yeah,
you really are.
You're going to HR. You're going to HR.
Time to cut my mic off.
Now, maybe it's Carly saying the word winner. Maybe it's this AC unit blasting on my head, making me cold as heck. But I want to give a big shout out to my cousin Brooks Willoughby Ray. He's on a trip to Alaska right now, playing 5 road games in the NAHL. He's a hockey player, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
You know,
Cool.
Willoughby
Awesome.
Rays, we have a
that
big
boy
time.
Brooks.
Hey, that boy
Come on,
Brooks.
yeah.
He's playing hard. You know, we have a big time hockey history in this family. You know, want to give him a quick shout out. Man. You know, this is actually the first sports pack of this semester where I can say we have 5 minutes left and we're actually ending somewhat concisely, because I swear to God, the last few episodes, man, we've been debating until right to the dot, and we don't have any time.
It's always good to take a chill day every now and again.
It really is. It really is. It's nice to kind of cool down a little bit. Oh, and there goes the AC. So thank God.
Perfect timing.
Cool down, smoke a cigarette.
Whoa. Richard. Okay. To distract you guys from Mr. Reed's ramblings, follow Dine West on Instagram at UWGDine_West to keep up on dining hall hours and retail hours. Never get caught missing good food or closings when you're hungry. Now, 4 minutes left to spare.
Judge Reed going to trial.
Do we have any closing remarks?
No.
Before we wish Wolves
anything else.
Nation a beautiful weekend.
No.
Richard, the floor is yours, buddy.
No, it's not.
Listen, we got some big GHSA tournaments starting tomorrow at the Coliseum. Be sure to not tune in. Be sure to pull up. I want to say the first game starts at 12. It's going to be a great turnout, great high school basketball experience. I want to say it's the semifinals. Go ahead and show up for that. Then on Saturday we have a doubleheader in baseball. Come listen to Richard Reed. Not only talk on the mic, but I'm going to be doing the PA announcing for the baseball games this weekend. First game starts at 1 on Saturday. Second game is at 4. And then we're going to end out the series versus the Lee Flames on Sunday at, I want to say, 1 p.m. So be sure to show up, support your West Georgia Wolves athletics and the big-time events happening at the Coliseum tomorrow.
Now, another thing I wanted to make everyone aware of, Wolf Sports Network as a whole has been expanding our coverage greatly. I'm looking at some of the faces right now, making it all possible. You know, we have an incredible staff out there covering baseball and softball live. Keep it tuned to Wolf Sports Network on Instagram for more details. Keep it tuned to our website. We are at pretty much every home baseball game, every home softball game, whether we're doing beat reporting, whether we're calling the game live. We're expanding our coverage, and it's honestly an incredible step forward for the station. It would not be possible without the John Halleys of the world, the Stephen Lamberts, the Jackson Schraders, the Jason Barkers, the Chase and Andrew Jeffersons, Jackson Volves, just a few names of the many that are doing incredible work at this station. We appreciate all of you. Shout out to the Sports Out of Pocket crew right now, currently in New York, had a safe flight. Very blessed to hear that. With all that being said, that is all the time we have tonight for this episode of Sports Pack. Shout out Richard, you tiptoed the line, you didn't cross it. Shout out Gianna, another great episode, keeping us in line. Shout out Carly, stepping in for Gavin, doing an incredible job
killing it on the board.
The board. This is your sports director, Brendan Willoughby Ray, signing off. Have an incredible weekend. Tune back in Monday.